him somebody who was a broadcast colleague of his, the one and only CM Punk.
How's everybody doing tonight? I apologize for my appearance. I feel Dave Prazak is somebody that you wear a suit for. I feel like the Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame is maybe something you don't wear a suit for. But my work and travel schedule has been so hectic, I have not been home since before Christmas. Not that I am complaining, it's just all my suits are at home. So this is what you get. I did feel better when I walked into the building and I saw how Chris Dickinson was dressed. I immediately said, I'm gonna be okay. Congratulations to, I'm gonna forget everybody, and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do Dave Prazak the just due that he deserves, but congratulations to Lufisto. Congratulations, of course, to Tracy Smothers. Congratulations to Ruckus. Congratulations to Sanjay Dutt, who I imagine is probably halfway home by now. Congratulations to Lenny Leonard. I didn't know you could speak French. That's pretty cool. Gosh. Congratulations to Jerry Lynn and Sean Waltman as well. I know it's past your bedtime. And congratulations, oh God, I was gonna purposely forget him, but now you're gonna call me out. Congratulations to D. Lariat, where's he at? Son of a bitch.
Right here, you scumbag!
Thank you to Brett Lauderdale for inviting me to do this. Thank you to GCW, congratulations. You guys sold out the Hammerstein tomorrow night. I'm all about giving people their flowers while they're here. Unfortunately, you know, Tracy's not here. I'm glad Dave still is. I know there's one thing in the world that Dave Prazak hates, and that is hearing about how great Dave Prazak is. Emil said that he was the most influential person in independent wrestling history, and man, I can't argue with that. He at least gives Sean Waltman and Jerry Lynn a run for his money. I personally don't think I'm a big deal. Some people do, but I cannot talk about my career at all without talking about Dave Prazak. And I have no notes, so I warned Brett Lauderdale. I said, this is going to be an Ian Rotten show. It's going to be 6.5 hours. We're all going to blow our time. I mean, Dickinson put himself on a clock and he still blew his time. I don't know how you do that. But I asked Dave when I walked in, I said, do you remember the first time that we met? And he didn't either, because I can't remember. Because I think Dave Prazak and CM Punk are synonymous with a lot of things, but two of the most known promotions that we are known for working together in are Mid-America Pro Wrestling and IWA Mid-South. And he said he thinks we met at a Mid-America show, which would have been the first one I worked probably in the year 2000, probably January, so 99, 2000. But it feels odd to me that I would have met him there, because those are doors that were closed to me that could only have been opened by knowing Dave Prazak. Most influential guy in independent wrestling history. I mean, he's done it all. He is a manager. He was a manager who decided that he needed to learn how to take bumps. He would come and train at Steel Domain, both locations. That shows you how old we are. Dave Prazak is a commentator. He taught himself how to referee. He could book a show. He could print out MapQuest directions. That shows you how old we are. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Dave Prazak used to be the master of making you a VHS tape to give to promoters. Now, that's not as old as, say, Jerry Lynn and Sean Waltman, who would put their videos on Betamax tapes. I don't know why this turned into a pick on you guys thing. I'm sorry. It's just, again, no notes, so this is what you get. This is a problem of mine. I have diarrhea of the mouth. I really can't stress enough that I can't talk about, guys like me, guys like Chris Hero, independent pro wrestlers who started doing this without a plan just because we loved it, were tenacious. Chances are, yeah, we would have made it, but it wouldn't have been as easy with Dave Prazak. Dave Prazak gave me countless contacts. This is a guy who I think drew his first paycheck from pro wrestling while he was still in high school. Do you guys remember AOL? This is how old Dave Prazak is. He was on Prodigy with like a whole slew of other wrestling luminaries like Bob Ryder, and he would write things for OneWrestling.com and Bob would pay him. He was broken into the business by Dennis Coraluzzo. Rest in peace. I feel like if he was here, he would charge you all $50 to leave the building as well as to come in. Oh gosh. There's nobody in the world that I've spent more time with in the last, 10 years than my wife, April. But I wonder if that time amounts to equal time that I've spent with Dave when we would drive all over the goddamn country for a hot dog and a handshake. But, wrestling is about being in the car and learning. And I always look back and I always say this, and as I watch everybody get inducted and everybody do the speeches, it dawned on me that, I don't have to say anymore that, I wish I was in the territories, because I wish I could have ridden in the cars with my heroes and learned that way from town to town, from show to show. And I realized I did it, and I did it with Dave. We would pile an ungodly amount of people in a car every weekend, and we would drive down to Indiana, Kentucky. We would drive 15 hours to Philadelphia. We would immediately get in the car that night, drive back, drive to Milwaukee for like a matinee show on a Sunday. And, we didn't all get rich from it, but I wish I was back there because it was the time of my life. And it's because of Dave Prazak. Now, again, I'm not the end-all, be-all. I did a couple, 2, 3 things in this business. Would it have happened without Dave? Again, yeah, probably. I'm a tenacious motherfucker, but it wouldn't have been as easy. Because of Dave Prazak, I started working at Mid-America Pro Wrestling. Because I was working at Mid-America Pro Wrestling, I started working at IWA Mid-South. I met Chris Hero. I met Tracy Smothers. Without Dave Prazak, I never would have met and wrestled Chris Candido. And on and on and on. Eddie Guerrero. Rey Mysterio Jr. Dave is the nucleus for all of that. Yes, promoters booked me and sometimes paid me. But it was Dave Prazak that made the tapes. 2 VCRs spliced together, made CM Punk music videos, put matches on a tape, gave me Norm Connor's contact information in Pittsburgh, gave me Blue Meanie's contact information in Philadelphia. I wouldn't be in Ring of Honor if I didn't have that back catalog of people I wrestled with and worked for, supported by Dave Prazak. He can manage, he can take bumps, he can referee, he can book a show, he can do commentary, he can ring announce. That's how he started. One thing I think, if you had to take away from Dave Prazak's career, and the reason he is the most influential man in independent wrestling history, is women's wrestling, Shimmer. Dave hates getting put over, but listen, the landscape of not only wrestling as a whole, and this is where I get away from trying to put myself over, women's wrestling and the landscape is drastically not what it is today without Dave Prazak. Dave Prazak is Johnny Appleseed. He's gone around the country and he's planted seeds, and he's not going to be able to sit under the shade of those trees. It's the next generation that is going to be sitting under the shade of those trees and eating the fruit from those trees. And it's really kind of a selfless, thankless job, but that's why we're all here. We're all here to thank Dave Prazak. When I was in OVW, having the time of my life, I sent him Serena Deeb. I sent him Beth Phoenix. You know, he used Sarah Del Rey, who has now gone on to obviously train some of the more famous lady wrestlers on television. Dare I say, the AEW Women's Champion wouldn't be who she is without Shimmer, Britt Baker. Dare I say, the man, not Lufisto, the second the man, wouldn't be Becky Lynch without Shimmer, wouldn't be WWE Champion currently. And hey, listen, that can be opinion. You can disagree with me. I'll fight you on it though, that's fact. All these things don't happen without Dave Prazak. And I'm possibly forgetting a million different things. He's worked everywhere. He's worked for CZW, he's worked for Ring of Honor, he's worked for Mid-America, he's worked for Ian Rotten, IW Mid-South. And now he's here, he works for GCW. And again, thank you, Britt Lauderdale, for calling me to be able to do this, to be able to say congratulations to Dave Prazak for his induction in the Indie Wrestling Hall of Fame. Come up here and talk about yourself. Dave doesn't get music? You can't play some Volcano Girls for Dave Prazak?
Stop!